everyone. Welcome to my video today, which element you are, part one. Before we begin, please don't forget to like, subscribe, and please don't forget to press the bell icon for notifications so you don't miss any of my upcoming videos. Your support is greatly appreciated, so let's begin today's video, Elements in Astrology. The first element is air, fire, water, and earth. And we also have space. Just like the universe has antimatter and matter, our body also has space in it as well. Our bodies are made up of 70% water, and you can only live 3 days without water. Air. We inhale and exhale about 11,000 liters of air a day. And when you're born with the universal air. So your first gasp and your first breath of air that you take, that gets stored in your area just below your navel. So if you put about 2 to 3 fingers below your belly button, in that area, there you have a small amount of air that's reserved. So if you were to hold your breath, that little bit of air is still in there, and that'll keep you alive until somebody is in a situation where they can't have their last breath. And when your last breath leaves you, it's that last bit, it's that gasp of air that is let out from your body. So you have that small stored reserve. You can only survive 3 minutes without air. So it is most essential, and it is the element which the body can't do without for the shortest amount of time. So you can go 3 minutes without air. You can go 3 days without water. And if you're in an extreme situation where you're climbing mountains or where there's elevation is involved, and the quality and level of oxygen is limited, then you could last 3 hours in those kinds of extreme conditions. Fire. Now, fire is a generator in your body. It generates energy for your body by processing the foods that you eat. So it's converting food into energy, and it regulates your temperature. And if it's too hot, that is also not good for the body. The body then turns into like scrambled eggs, and the heat will deneutralize the proteins and the brain gets damaged. So your body needs to be kept at a range as far as the temperature. Earth. That's the accumulation of the food which makes up the physical body. So everything that you're taking into your body, any kind of food. So if you're eating an apple, that apple becomes your body. If you're eating a banana, that banana becomes part of your physical body. And when you die, like they say, dust to dust, you go back to the earth, because that's what you're made of. Now, the space, that is actually the cavities that you have in your body. They're little pockets of empty space. So something like your mouth is a cavity, and that helps you with the singing and talking, and you have other empty cavities within your body. So as the universe has empty space and empty matter, so do we as a body, because we are a reflection of the universe. So the first element, which is air, the signs that represent air are Aquarius, Gemini, and Libra. Now the characteristics that are described for these 3 signs, they are powerful, creative, they have mental energy, and they're filled with ideas and inventions, and they are in constant movement. If you're looking at water, that's represented by Pisces, Cancer, Scorpio. Now, these are very private, mysterious types. They have psychic abilities. They're very emotional and sensitive. And the fire signs, These are Aries, Leo, and Sagittarius. These are the doers. They're the physical signs. They're passionate, action, temperamental, energetic. They're great starters. And the earth signs are Taurus, Virgo, and Capricorn. These signs are very grounded, helpful, practical, materialistic, and they're dependable, reliable. And the elements, how they, what they produce together is something that needs to be looked at, because we're not just made of one element. We're made up of all our 12 planets are in 12 houses in all different signs, and some of them are debilitated, some of them are exalted, some of them have directional strength. So all these things need to be looked at. So you look at where your fire sign is, how it correlates with the air signs, and how they what combinations they are making. So when you're looking at fire and air, it creates hotness. And if you're looking at fire and earth, it creates dryness. Air and water, wetness. And earth and water, coldness. So this is what they produce together as an in combination. So if we're looking at house element and your sign element, this is just an example. So if you have in your fourth house, let's say you have Mars in the sign of Cancer. In the seventh house. In the seventh house, in the fourth sign of Cancer, you have Mars. So here, this is a house of partnership, of marriage, of your spouse, of the other. So this would represent what type of a husband you would have. And the husband here is in it's actually in Mars, in the sign of Cancer. So here he could have trouble expressing his softer side, because Mars is an aggressive, physical type, and Cancer is more emotional, more sensitive sign. So you put these two together, and you have somebody who has trouble expressing the softer sides of their emotion. There could be volatile, easily upset. It could be somebody who's moody. So you put these two elements together, and it's what they produce as a combination. So now, if we're looking at fire, that's Aries, Leo, Sagittarius. Air, which is Aquarius, Libra, Gemini. Earth, which is Virgo, Capricorn, Taurus. And water sign, Cancer, Pisces, and Scorpio. So what you do is you take your chart and you count up how many fire signs you have, how many air signs you have, how many earth signs, and how many water signs you have. And then you want to see what percentage you have of each element. So in this example here, so we're going to look at this example and we're going to analyze this example. So in this example, the native has 70% earth, 20% water, 45% air, and 5% fire. So with that, what that would produce as a combination, because you're looking at what elements are in high concentration and which ones are low in their concentration, and what that combination produces. So with this combination, the earth element is very high and the fire element is very low. Okay, and so they would have a lot of ideas because the air is 45%. And they would have trouble getting things started because that's the fire sign is very low. So fire represents initiating things, starting things, action, doing physical work to do things. So they're the doers of the zodiac. Once they do, then they can build and create. And why is that? Is because of earth. Earth here is 70% and water is at 20%. So now, because of the fire being so low, and they have low energy and low motivation, because fire is the energy that you have in your body. It is taking what you take from the world, putting it into your body, and that creating the energy. So here it's like the furnace of the body isn't working properly. It's working at a low function. So what it's giving out is also low. So it doesn't have the energy then to go ahead um, and go into action. They also may not be so independent. They could have low self-esteem, again, because of the low fire element. Now, why somebody would be, for instance, they can build and create once they get started. So they would have trouble getting started, but once they started, they could actually do great things because their water earth combination is good. So they have 70% earth and they have 20% water. Now, so if you're taking a bucket of earth and you're putting a small percentage of water in it and you're mixing it, what are you getting? You're getting a compound that is actually something that you can build with. It actually holds together. So you can build with that. So this combination is good for the building. So now our next example, we're looking at water at 70%, fire and air at 10% each, and earth at 20%. So now when you're looking at your own charts, obviously the numbers are not going to match these numbers, but this will give you an idea of how to kind of analyze your own charts. So this is somebody who is overly emotional because water is at 70%. Water signs are, they're overly emotional, overly sensitive. This person has low creativities and low ideas because their air is fairly low in combination to the rest. Their majority of their element is in water. And they also have 10% for fire. So not only do they have low creativity and low energy, but they also have slow action to that as well. So they don't really think of a lot of ideas because they're not so creative, and they have the low energy, so they don't really have the motivation either. They can be slow starters because the fire is very low. Now, they're also slow to anger because the fire is low. So that's a good thing there. It is it's they will have trouble creating material things because you see the water and the earth here. Oh, okay. It actually, if we're looking at water and earth here, water at 70 and earth at 20, they will have trouble creating material because you're looking at a bucket of water with a very small amount of sand. So what are you going to have? You're going to have mud, right? So that equals mud, and you can't really build anything with mud. So that is not good for creating. So if you're looking at this person is overly emotional. They don't have the creativity, they don't have the energy, they don't have the motivation, and their composition of water and earth isn't very. It isn't. It isn't a substance that they can work with. It isn't a situation that they can work with because the combination of the two is not a good match. They are, however, very sweet and soft because they are majority water. So this gives you an idea of how the elements work together. Now, please watch part 2, and I'll go into depth with more examples of what combinations produce what kinds of characteristics and life situations, and what your soul elements are and how to understand them better, at a elementary level. So please don't forget to watch this video, part 2. And I would like to thank you for watching this video. Please don't forget to like, comment, and subscribe.